Across Ireland, we work with over 400 supply partners, spending more than 70 million a year with them. But this year, we set them a new challenge. If they have not done so already, they must begin their net zero journey now. We've been on our net zero journey since 2010, and we have 3 targets: short, medium, and long-term targets, all of which have been validated by the Science Based Targets initiatives. Our short-term target is 34% by 2025, 50% by 2030, and 90% by 2040. You have scope 1 and 2, which are our direct emissions, and we can control those, and they account for about 2% of our footprint. Then you have scope 3, which accounts for 98% of our emissions. We do not have direct control over these, but we can influence them. And that's where our supply partners come in, because we know that our supply chain accounts for about 1/3 of our emissions. And that's why it's so important that we focus on our net zero supplier engagement strategy. We need and want to work collaboratively with our supply partners. Our SMEs and our social enterprises, they don't always have the resource or the expertise to tackle such huge challenges as net zero, but we do.
Atlantis Seafoods is a family-run business. Started 30 years ago. We're based at this unit here in the heart of Wexford. We draw most of our fish out of Kilmore, Quay, which is the local port down the road. We employ about 100 people. We have about 15 different nationalities, so we have a good mix. We've been supplying Sodexo for the last 15 years. One of our biggest customers at this moment in time. Seafood, on average, we would supply about 1,500 kilos of fresh fish per week. First came aware of net zero about 5 or 6 years ago. The first thing was recycling. All our waste was going to landfill. Now it's 50%. We're working on a range of initiatives at the moment, ranging from reusable crates, rain harvesting, where we washed all our yards, all outside of our vans. We actually have an electric car for one of our sales reps, started this year, the first electric vehicle that we have. We're actually installing solar panels, we're installing heat pumps. Sodexo is actually the first company to actually say, we want you to work towards net zero, but we're actually going to help you. The Harley and Marley initiative came about 2 years ago when we looked at the amount of waste we produce. So we came up with the idea of producing dog treats, dog food, cat food. So now what we're doing is we're closing the circle, the circular economy. We're using the whole fish, no pieces go to waste. We wanted to play our part, but also we look at the cost savings as well. I mean, for a company the size of ourselves, costs are very, very important.
September 2023, suppliers that account for 75% of our supply chain emissions are reporting on their scope 1 and 2 and will provide a carbon reduction plan which they'll update annually. By September 2025, suppliers representing 75% of our supply chain emissions again will need to have their own science-based targets. And then by September 2027, that number will have increased to 90%. And then finally, by January 2030, Sodexo will partner with suppliers that demonstrate tangible progress through published reporting. The impact of the net zero supplier engagement strategy is that our clients are asking us to be on this journey. So by default, we need our suppliers to be on that same journey. And because we're asking our suppliers, they're asking their suppliers, and we'll see the ripple effect creating systemic change.